Hi! Alright, so here's video entry 2, and I'm here with Ty, who has been to Iceland. So we're here to pick his brain, learn some things, see how this goes. So hi, welcome to the show, I guess.
Coffee?
I got horchata actually.
Oh, whoa,
Right?
I didn't know they served that here. This is Chocolati, by the way, Wallingford location.
Pretty cozy.
So you're going to the remote island in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
Why?
Why not?
Okay.
I'm just going to stick with that answer.
With answers like that, this will be a short clip.
Anyway, so I bought my plane ticket April 3rd to April 27th.
What's the airline?
Iceland. Yeah. When did you end up going?
So I went pretty much for the entire month of May. That's what I did.
Okay.
Late April to late May.
So basically the same time as you go.
So it's when all the baby, it's when all the lambs are being born.
That'll be interesting. I wonder if it's the same season that cows are born. It's gonna work on a dairy, so it's
right.
Baby cows.
Yeah.
Horses too. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
For sure. So I have a couple questions.
Sure.
I guess we'll just start out with simple things like what are the top 3 things that you brought that you were glad that you brought?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're going to be doing a little bit of a different thing than I am in terms of the room and board.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it sounds like you're going to be traveling around the island and hitchhiking.
Eventually, yeah.
And couch surfing, maybe staying in hostels, maybe camping.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, I was really glad that I brought my laptop, believe it or not, because what that allowed for was a sense of spontaneity, where I could arrive in a town with a strange name and hardly anybody there, and figure out what I wanted to do next and sort of connect with people and plan my trip in the moment rather than beforehand. So
yeah, the internet is really good for that. I was looking up stuff online last night about like couch surfers, or I was looking up dumpster diving and everything on there,
right.
And just like the legality of certain substances over there. So that was good to know. You can learn a lot of things on the internet for sure. So.
That reminds me of another thing I'm glad I brought, but maybe I won't get into that now. But so the laptop is definitely one. The camera. I borrowed a really nice DSLR from a friend who was gracious enough to lend it to me for a month, and the pictures are amazing. I mean, it's not really a place for diverse wildlife, but the landscape makes up for it in terms of how young and volatile, active, and calendar-like it is. So to go to Iceland without a camera is like to go to, I don't know, to go to Hawaii without a swimsuit, you know what I mean? You gotta do it. Don't bring a swimsuit to Iceland. Well, actually, no, the hot springs for sure.
Right.
So so bring a camera, obviously.
Have you ever seen Dante's Peak?
No.
Okay, if you saw that, you wouldn't want to go in the hot springs. Because there was volcanic activity, and basically people died while they were in the hot springs. Because
in Iceland?
It was somewhere in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
So, right.
So yeah, and then the third thing, well, I mean, me personally, on my trip, it was very important that I had a tent that allowed for a lot of things to happen that just could not have happened otherwise. Iceland is great for camping because, and especially when in the off season. You might be getting into the season towards the end of June, but most of it's the off season. So you can camp anywhere, even in places where the sign's saying you're not allowed to. The locals will quickly tell you it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to enforce it. You want to camp next to one of the most famous waterfalls there, you can literally just go right behind it. No one cares. So at the same time, the winds there sometimes, I call them the Snæfellsnes Nest Peninsula, are so strong that your tent poles will just bend permanently. So now I have sort of a cartoonish tent, but it still works.
That's the point of a tent.
Yeah.
So, talking about waterfalls and stuff, what was your favorite nature spot or adventures to it.
That's a tough one to choose, of course, but I can.
Okay.
So yeah, as you know, Iceland is completely well known for its waterfalls. I mean, in terms of Europe, Iceland is the place for waterfalls. Absolutely. The mountains aren't that tall, but they're striking, right? They're just jagged and the colors, the color difference between the ice, the snow, the volcanic ash. It's very, again, bring your camera. The hot springs, right? It's just so many. There's maps of Iceland hot springs where you can follow and go to some that just aren't really well known or charged. But I would say personally, when my mom and I went to, what's it called? It's the Glacier Lagoon. And I'm trying to remember the name, but...
Does it start with blue?
No, the Blue Lagoon is a tourist spot.
Okay.
That's over at
That's probably why I've heard about it.
Yeah, you'll go there, and it's a lot of money, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the Glacier Lagoon, which is in the south, in the middle. Anyway, they shot a few films there. I think a Tomb Raider film, a James Bond film. That was the best camping spot I've ever gone to in my life. Literally, you wake up, you step out of your tent. I have a picture of it, and there's the lagoon with the glacier in the background, just barely visible, and the icebergs cracking off of it, floating towards you with birds sitting on top, doing their preening, and the photographers in a line, like a firing line, just focused, like, okay, let's get the best shot today. Absolutely dramatic. And then you have the ice on the beach, so you have the black sand because it's all volcanic, and you have the ice sculptures just melting slowly on the beach, and you go there and you pick them up like you're in a museum, So, and you can eat 10,000-year-old ice. So that's a spot you're definitely going to hit on your way around the island.
You have to get me the name of that.
Yeah, you've probably already read about it 100 times. It's hard to miss.
Well, I guess I should have started asking you what you did in Iceland. That would probably be better for context.
So this was one of the first trips that I've done where I wasn't going with a program, so it wasn't structured, and that was really nice for me. I planned on that. My mom sort of piggybacked and said, "Oh, you're going? Let me come too."
Right.
So she came for she came for 2 weeks. I stayed for 4. And Iceland's a really good country for doing that. It allows you to really plan your trips well. So we hitchhiked around the entire island. It took us about 12 days. Sort of a relaxed hitchhiking pace.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Iceland's the place where you can stick your thumb out and you might see one car every hour, but within 4 or 5 cars you're going to be picked up. Maybe since you're a girl, it'll be fewer, right? So it was really safe. So we hitchhiked around the whole thing. We got to see a lot of different cities and towns we wanted to see, as well as some ones that just weren't even on the radar. I didn't even know that Djúpivogur was a town we'd stop at. Right, yeah. But here a lady says, "All right, get off," and so suddenly we're spending the night in this random town. So we did that, and then there was also a focus on spending a lot of time in Reykjavik, because obviously that is the anomaly of the island. Right?
Yeah.
Here you have a bunch of people suddenly in the middle of nowhere, and they're doing some pretty cool and artistic stuff, and it's kind of an advanced city, especially in comparison to the sort of peasant-like status of most other people there.
Yeah.
So Reykjavik is a beast all on its own. It deserves its own few weeks of exploration.